a HubSpot partner agency. Joachim.
Thanks.
Today, Joachim and Dan will share insights into how to use the new HubSpot help desk. Joachim and Dan, we're delighted to have you share your expertise with us. Over to you.
So before we jump over to Dan, good morning, everybody. I'm handing it over to Dan in a second, but just from an aspiration marketing perspective, super grateful for having Dan here. As many of you might know,
hear me okay?
Service Hub, yes, we can hear you, Dan. But Service Hub is one of the features of HubSpot. There's the Sales Hub, there's the Marketing Hub, there is Service Hub, Operations Hub, CMS Hub, and Service Hub announced a couple of cool features there at the Inbound conference earlier in the year. What we wanted to do is highlight and have Dan and HubSpot do
and the
that.
question is, can I hear anybody else?
So we can hear you, Dan. Just a second. And as I'm handing this over to,
Cool. I guess that's the important part. I can't hear anybody, so give me a second.
So let me cover that while Dan is scrambling for hearing us. Some of the new features in Service Hub, or one of the key features, is the introduction of the help desk, and this is directly from the horse's mouth, if you want, trying to give you guys a feature in the next 15-20 minutes, feature overview of the new help desk. What's new? Why is it new? Allow you guys to ask a couple of questions. So again, super delighted to have Dan Rosenbaum on. Dan, over to you. Tell us what's new. Tell us what's happening, and why the new help desk is a cool feature people should be looking into.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Joachim, for having me. Super pumped to be here and talking about this stuff. I can hear you, and I think everyone can hear me, so we're doing okay here. So there's a big question here around, and that I've been getting too, which is like, what is this help desk thing? Why should we be using it? How does it enhance Service Hub? All this good stuff. And how is it different specifically from our conversations inbox? So before we get into all of those things, I just want to talk a little bit about the importance of good service, because it feeds into this conversation around this brand new tool. And just a quick check-in, are we all seeing the poor customer service expensive slide here? All right, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't need to tell everybody on this call, customer service is so important, especially in the modern day. It's what really differentiates you from your competitors. And just a couple of numbers out here, we all know it's way more expensive to acquire new customers than it is to retain existing ones. We retain through excellent services and excellent support. And you can see that 56% of businesses, when asked, they stop doing business with companies because of poor service experiences. And then this last one here, 25% increase in profit from a 5% improvement in retention. Kind of alongside this first one here, it is just so important to retain clients. It costs so much less money, time, and effort to retain. And so that's why it's really important to have a really powerful service tool at your disposal. So today's most disruptive companies are winning on connected customer experiences, and that's what we are trying to do with this new feature here. So as far as HelpDesk is concerned, and kind of Service Hub all over, we want to make this as easy as possible to utilize the HelpDesk. So we're making that experience more seamless. We're making it easier for folks who are actually using the thing to use it. And that means that the end customers that we're doing service for, they're going to have a more positive experience, quicker responses, all that good stuff. We're not going to get into the other two parts of this, which is the we'll touch upon omni-channel functionality. So meeting customers where they're at, if they like to text in, if they like to chat in, if they like to email in, call in, allowing all those avenues there. And then of course the automation piece with your CRM. So having workflows in the background that are making sure things aren't getting missed and nothing's falling through the cracks there. Let's talk about the help desk itself. So quick poll here. I'm not actually going to make a poll, but either raise your hand virtually or just drop in the chat. Who's familiar with our conversations inbox? Who's used that before? Okay, I see a hand. And it's okay if you haven't. And when you see the help desk, you might think, well, this looks familiar to me. So the idea with help desk is with the conversations inbox, it was a really good way for just like incoming queries and things to maybe a team email or a form that you have sitting somewhere. Really good centralized space just to kind of funnel all of those things. One of the issues with that is that you look at it and you don't really know what's been responded to super easily. It's hard to tell. You don't really know like what stage of our outreach those people are in. They could be a sales lead. They could be a service person or someone who needs service support. You don't really know. You have to kind of shuffle through all of them. You have to see if other people have responded already, all that good stuff. So it was a really good place to just bucket all communications, but not a great place to manage them all. So what the help desk does is it aims to make this a more tickets focused experience. So if something deserves a ticket to be opened in Service Hub, we open up a ticket and it makes it super easy to do that. And it's very ticket forward. And you can even see information about that ticket once it's created, or if there's already a ticket created, we can see everything that we need to see about it. So it really streamlines that process. And anything else that doesn't be a ticket or shouldn't be there, we can always reroute it somewhere else. The easy ticket management portion of this, in this initial screenshot on the right-hand side is where you can see all of the ticket information. So this is just a zoomed in version of this. The nice thing is like we don't need to leave the help desk to do everything that we would normally do from a service perspective. So I can change the stage of that ticket if we're kind of going back and forth with the client or responding. If you want to close out a ticket, if you want to just change the stage of it, we can do all of that and adjust the properties and all the connected objects on top of that. So much easier ticket management. We are big fans here at HubSpot of not making you leave where you're comfortable with or leaving your workspace to go and do another action. So this is a really powerful tool here. And custom views, this is similar to the conversations inbox, but it's a little bit more powerful now that we're more integrated with the tickets functionality. So you can see here I've got a hot ticket items with a little fire emoji there. And that is a custom view that says, hey, show me every conversation that's open. And I only where the priority is high. Open conversations, high priority, they get bucketed there easily for me. And we can have all sorts of workflows in the background that are setting the priority based on some information that they added or where the ticket came from. And of course, just if the conversation's open, that's happening automatically in the background. So lots of good custom filtering options. And in the settings for the help desk, we have really powerful SLA, service level agreement options. So when we're building out the help desk, we can say, I've got this many requests coming in on average. I've got this many reps who are looking at all of them. And reasonably, I think we can get back to people in 2 to 3 hours, or maybe it's 2 to 3 minutes, whatever it might be for your organization. You can set that up so that there's transparency to the customer in, how long should they expect to wait to hear back from you. And then there's targets that you can set for your team that, you can kind of measure this against. When you're first building these things out, you're probably just going to be kind of spitballing and saying, we think this is a reasonable amount of time. You might find that you're a lot quicker than that or a lot slower than that. So you can always adjust. But the really powerful part of this is we can put these expectations out there and then we can report off of them. So from the time a ticket comes in and is created to the time of first response to the time it closes, we can map all that out and we can use hard data to adjust our SLAs over time. And with this being, before I move on there, with this being so integrated into tickets specifically, it's just a lot easier to do this reporting. And here's the service analytics here. So it's pretty straightforward. All the same stuff I just mentioned around the turnaround times and number of tickets closed, number of conversations handled, managed by rep, all that good stuff. And then finally here we have channel switching. So if you've used the conversations inbox before, you're probably familiar with this, where you can have a live chat coming in and you can be chatting away. Same thing in the help desk. You can be doing live chats in the help desk. And then as soon as somebody's like, hey, I actually I need to step away, or can you email me the stuff that we've talked about so far, the solution here, totally cool. You can always change from doing a live chat to sending an email to that person, all within the same window. So again, you don't need to actually leave, go anywhere, do anything crazy. You can do it all inside the help desk. So again, if you're familiar with the conversations inbox, this is similar. It's just a way that we can make it more of a service specific experience, whereas the conversations inbox was kind of omni use, I'll say, because folks would put their sales at HubSpot.com, their support at HubSpot.com, all of those different team emails and forms and all these things just kind of dropping in. Whereas we have a lot more control with the help desk on deciding, what types of things come in and where they should land. So that's the idea. We're eventually the roadmap and plan is, I don't know if we're going to ever fully sunset the conversations inbox, but we are wanting to make the help desk like the premier space to handle your service queries in over time. So it's going to be really valuable to just start using it, start playing with it, and I think you'll pick it up pretty quick. And I see a question here. What is the expected response time with the channel switching? So I assume you mean like kind of an SLA for, we're chatting and you say, you know what, I'm going to send you an email with all this information. So you switch over and how much time, it takes in between those two things. I don't know if there's an SLA for kind of like mid conversation wait times, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where in the chat itself, you should kind of set your own personal SLA because you'll know what your own reasonable turnaround time is for that specific request. The SLAs are more geared towards like the time to first response type of thing. And then the rest of it is variable based on the issues that somebody might be having. It's a really good question there. Okay. So it's not rocket science here. It's just it is kind of what it is, and I think it's something that's really valuable in learning now because we're investing in the tool a lot more in the future. So that's pretty much all I got just for kind of an overview of the tool set there. There's some other cool stuff that you can do when it comes to the types of channels that you connect when it comes to setting up automations and workflows in the background to route these things to specific users. There's going to be more control over when I'm looking at a ticket or I'm responding to something. I can see if somebody else is also looking at it or responding to it at the same time, so that we're not stepping on each other's toes anymore. Assigning conversations to people, all this, like a lot of the stuff that we are familiar with, and then a lot of things that are new and useful for a more modern service experience. So that's all I got for content, but I want to open up the floor to questions, comments, concerns. If you want to see some stuff in action, we can do that as well. So feel free to open up the floor. Good question around it being in beta still. Technically, it is. So if you look at your HubSpot instance and you go to the service dropdown, you'll see HelpDesk listed there at the top, and it does have a beta tag on it. So this is good news, because it means that if it's in beta, that we are actively working on improvements, and more importantly, we are open to feedback. So I think something that HubSpot product and developers teams do really well is during the alpha and beta phases and rollout phases, taking feedback really seriously and implementing it pretty, for a large tech company pretty quickly. So we love feedback. Use this, beat it up, break it. That's what we want, so that we can make it better for everybody. Joachim, you are muted right now if you're trying to talk.
I actually was. Thank you. So what I was wondering, if you could provide some guidance if a customer wants to start with the help desk next week, what is it that they need to think about and do from a migration perspective, from a getting started perspective?
Are you talking about a migration from like from the
existing? No, from the existing. They have HubSpot today. Let's assume they have HubSpot Service Hub today. They say they click on the beta. They want to get started. What is it that they need to think about it? Does it start? Does it function right out of the box? What are some considerations to move toward the new help desk?
Yeah, really good question. So my number one thing when folks are looking to get started in this space is figure out where your customers are coming from. Where are they trying to meet you at? If the majority of your customers are filling out contact us forms, meet them there. If they're emailing your support team directly, meet them there. If they'd like to call you, meet them there. So figure out where folks like to contact you from, the avenues that they have to contact you from. And those are what we would call your channels. And then your channels are what you're connecting to the help desk, so that if somebody fills out a form, if they're calling you, if they are shooting a WhatsApp message, whatever it might be, map those channels out so that you can connect them to the help desk, so that we're not missing out on any of those communications. Once they start rolling in, then it's going to be kind of a adaptive experience, I'll say, over time, where you're going to have to figure out the assignment process that you're comfortable with. If you want to just do like a standard round robin, or if you want based on the mode that someone is coming in from, like, maybe Dan, I handle all form submissions. That's my job. And then somebody else monitors the team email submissions. Or if you want to just do a general round robin, So figure out where people are coming from, and then figure out the best way for your team to meet them where they're coming from. Yeah, really good question there. Anything else from anybody else? Cool. And one thing I'll say too is that the Service Hub is an evolving creature. We are trying to get more and more of those channels, added. So like recently I mentioned WhatsApp. Recently we added that, a little bit more SMS texting capabilities. And we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to communicate with your clients, and by that extension, for us to manage those communications. So that's the real idea behind the help desk improvements, is making it easier for folks to reach out and easier for us to engage with them once they do.
How much is the chatbot integrated or working in tandem with the help desk? Because many customers do have the chatbot, initial interactions with the chatbot, then a human takes over. How much is this one and the same work environment for a customer service rep?
Yeah, good question. I will get to the Zendesk question too, so I do see it. But as far as the chatbot is concerned, the way that I understand it working is that the chatbot is handling some initial intake questions. So it'll kind of maybe give some knowledge base articles that relate to your issue. It'll try to kind of direct you to the correct place to get information, and then only once it comes to the point in the branch in the logic there where it says, all right, we're going to connect you with a live person, or we're going to open up a ticket for you. Those are kind of like the two main things that you can do. So if it connects you with a live person, then that engages the chat functionality and tracking inside of HelpDesk, and it should give you all of the previous communications that were had with the bot essentially. If it opens up a ticket, then in that case, it's closing the live chat conversation and opening up a ticket instead, which activates HelpDesk. So now you have a ticket that you can work with, and it'll have that conversation history, any information that they gave you. They gave the bot ahead of time. It'll include all that. So really it depends on what the logic branch is, but either way, once it's ready to get to a human, then HelpDesk is activated.
Thank you.
And as far as you got it. As far as the Zendesk questions is concerned, there was a question about what's one benefit from using something like this over a Zendesk. So, I am a HubSpotter. I'm clearly biased. I will say, if you stacked up Service Hub alone with Zendesk alone, Zendesk probably has, it's probably a little bit more feature rich. It's a little bit more specialized for support situations, and that's okay. They're more, and they're expanding themselves, but they're more of a point solution for service experiences. The benefit that you have with Service Hub is really, outside of it being a powerful tool in and of itself, is the connected nature amongst the rest of your hubs, the rest of your teams, visibility, and getting your tech stack into a more consolidated space. So if I am a sales rep who's trying to work a client on an upsell, cross-sell, whatever it might be, I can look at and easily see, all right, like what were all of their recent support requests? Are they happy with us? Are they upset with us? What are they struggling with? So that I am a more informed rep when I am going into having those conversations. I don't have to have a seat in Zendesk as a sales rep just to see what issues people are having. Like, I'm not going to log into a whole nother software just to, look at that stuff. But with the connected nature of all of this, no little bit of communication is lost. We're looking at clients from a much more holistic approach. And you can, even as a sales rep, you can provide that more connected experience for folks, let them know that they're really being seen with their issues. So I'll always go back to the connected nature of the kind of the suite experience, outside of Service Hub being a really powerful tool by itself. It's just 10x multiplier. Really good question there. Any other questions from the crowd?
Well, if that's not the case, there's contact information for Dan on the registration page. Connect with him on LinkedIn. Same for myself or all the others. And we'll follow up per email as well. But I would say, Dan, thanks for participating. I know it's quarter end. You guys are all busy. So thanks for taking the time to spend that with us. And for everyone else, we'll have this on YouTube. Follow the channel, like the video, share the video. We appreciate you having watched it. And for all those in the sales trenches, have a good Q4. Everybody else, good Christmas and a good start into the new year. Thank you so much, and we'll have the next webinar coming up at the end of January. Thank you. Bye-bye.